Old rich people who refuse to retire. How do you feel about old people? I mean late 70s and early 80s. Who are making six figures and above who refuse to retire. Emo, they hold others back from getting promotions, raises, etc. I really don't understand why an 80 years old who is so well off and could more than afford to retire doesn't. IMHO. I think it's because work has become their entire social life, if not their personality. They have no hobbies, and any social interactions are with work buddies, where they talk about work. My dad's in his late 70s and still talks about his heyday 40-odd years ago. TLDR. There's nothing else for them, and retirement equals death. Man shrugging. You mean the entire American government thinking face? Had a lady at work who didn't retire till 82. In only BC she had a cardiac event and the doctor made her. She grew up affluent. And long story short, her HUSB tanked the family biz and she was no longer affluent. But she couldn't let go of her lifestyle. And they never saved while living it up during the good years. She basically worked so she could keep the big house. Didn't downsize after kids left. The maid. And the $15,000 fancy cruises with her still affluent friends. She was living paycheck to paycheck. BC, she was still a Kardashian in her mind. She had a billing hiccup where someone took an automatic payment a couple days too soon. For like $300. And she flipped out. These PPL may make good money and look like they're living large. But you'd be surprised how many of those PPL are actually broke schmucks living paycheck to paycheck. Like everyone else. I would be careful assuming anyone has enough money to retire. Our entire economy is designed to extract as much money as possible out of people, and more people than not, like my parents, fall for that constant consumerism hamster wheel grift. Yes, we should scorn the rich who continue sucking up resources needlessly, but many people with high incomes are just as trapped as the rest of us. You mean those people that work is the only reason to be alive anymore? That work needs me is the sole reason to live? Fuck 'em. Fuck me. Fuck you. Fuck everybody. So, I can only give you my opinion. Of course. But there is a belief that when people who are older retire, they are one step closer to death. So a lot of time, they don't want to retire out of fear. I have seen some guys who are 75 plus years old working, and every time I look at them, I think to myself, why are you still here? Quote, but the truth of the matter is, more often than not, they are afraid to hit the next stage in life. They are afraid to retire and do nothing. They are afraid of what the next step entails. I think sometimes we have to remember that a lot of these men and women have worked in the same place since they got out of high school. A lot of these say, men and women have worked in the same place for 30 or 40 years. More often than not, when you see an older person who is still working at 70 plus years old, it's because of fear of the next stage in life. Similarly to when many of us graduated high school, we had a fear of what was next. What were we going to do? Where were we going to go? Some of us went to college, some of us went straight into the workforce. However, there was definite uncertainty, and we had no idea what was next. This may be why you see so many older men and women still working to this day. It makes me so mad because it leaves these old poor people in terrible working conditions, because being on welfare isn't going to meet their basic needs. Would you want to be forced to retire if you didn't want to? I don't think anyone wanting to continue working is really the problem here. It's the unequal distribution of resources. If that was fixed, it wouldn't matter how long anyone wanted to keep working. Where I work, A person put in 55 years only retired cause of health reasons. After 2 months of retirement, they passed away. Never got to enjoy retirement or all the money they made. I know this person loved the job. It was their entire life. People live paycheck to paycheck and need the supplemental health insurance. It's going to be worse for us when we get old. It is really easy to make 6 figures and not save any money. From what I have noticed, their career became their identity. Without it, they don't know who they are, or it's that this place would fall apart without me. Ego BS. I think it's blaming an individual for a systemic problem. By and large, most people retire around their 60s. And the majority of people who stay in jobs past that need the income. See grocery store elderly who work there because they have no retirement income beyond Social Security, which is poverty wages. The vast majority of elderly workers are a part of the labor coalition, not an enemy of it. We should not have a system where a person works their entire life and has to continue working until they die because there are not enough social safety nets for them to retire. The vanishingly few elderly people in well-paying jobs are not preventing all younger people from obtaining well-paying jobs. It's the system designed to extract maximal labor from workers for the least pay that is preventing us from making a living wage. You wouldn't need promotions for raises if the lower-level jobs already provided enough to live on in the first place. We benefit more from organizing with elderly workers than against them. You assume that they can afford to retire. There are people that identify with work. That is their entire life and self-worth. I work with people like that. Not me. I can't wait to retire. If they like doing what they're doing, when you get old, you want people telling you that you're not allowed to work anymore? If people want to keep working and doing what they're doing, leave them alone. I could retire now, although I'm nowhere near the ages mentioned. But I love my work. Why would I give up something I love? I guess I'm on the wrong sub. It's ignorant to think they're well off. I know people in my trade who make 6 figures and cannot retire. They have dedicated their life to giving to their family, etc. Just because someone makes 6 figures doesn't mean they are well off or can retire easily. $100,000 grand a year is nothing anymore to raise a family unless you're in an extremely low cost of living area. Maybe they just enjoy working? Not everybody can retire.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Eracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.